Good morning, this is your Math Sensei, Mr. Spensei, and this is day 4, or day 9 of writing and solving equations from Unit 4. So Dylan has $5 in dimes and nickels. He has exactly 66 coins. How many coins of each kind does he have? So first off, what's being mixed together or combined together? Well, it looks like we have dimes and nickels. So here we go, nickels and dimes. What is the question for? How many nickels and how many dimes are there? This is tricky because I don't see any rate words. However, we have money, and we know money can be a rate. So in this case, money can be a rate. And so our rate words are, um, in this case, 10 cents and 5 cents. And I'll put 0.05. And what I did is a nickel, 5 divided by 100, and 10 divided by 100. Always anything in cents, you're going to treat just like percent, cent and percent, you're going to treat the same. So 5 divided by 100 is 0.05, and 10 divided by 100 is 0.10. So in this case, I look and I have two rates. How many totals are there? Well, we have two. We have 66 coins, and we have exactly $5. All right. So that answers that first section. It says here we ask what is being mixed. Well, an investor puts money into two accounts. One earns 4% and the other 8%. So basically we have what's being mixed is a 4% and 8% account. What is the question asking to find? How much is invested in each? How much money is in each account? Identify the rate words. Well, we have percent. We know percent is a rate word. So in this case, our rate words are percent, specifically 4% and 8%. How many rates are there? Two. Now we notice you invest total and earn 640. So in this case, we have two totals, and our totals are the initial investment, the 10,000, and then 640 in interest. This is the investment, and this is the interest. Okay. All righty. So anytime we have two rates, there will be two totals. If we had three rates, there would be one total. So these two numbers always have to add to four. It'll either be 2 and 2 or 3 and 1. So continuing on, it says, here's the Dillon problem. And we know that we're mixing nickels and dimes. I highly suggest you always start with the small first. So if our smallest value is nickels, and remember that's 5 cents divided by 100. And then we also have dimes. And dimes are 10 cents divided by 100. So I'm going to use N for nickels and D for dimes. So let N equal the number of nickels, because that's what we're interested in, and D equal the number of dimes. Well, if this is the number of nickels and this is the number of dimes, how many of them do we have in total? Oh, we have 66. So continuing on, we're looking at this and we go, okay, what's our rate? Well, our rate is 5 divided by 100. So in this case, when we take our calculator and we do 5 divided by 100, we get 0.05. 10 divided by 100 is 0.10. At this point, we've used up 1, and we've used up nickels and dimes. And we also have our first equation, so we can go ahead and write that. So N plus D equals 66. Now, how many N's are there? Well, I only see one, so 1 nickel and 1 dime. Okay? So then one group of nickels and one group of dimes. I don't see any other rates because this is $5 in total. So since there are no other rates, there's nothing that goes there. That $5 is the total amount that they have. So it goes here. And this becomes 0.05 N, and this becomes 0.10 D, because this times this equals this, and this times this equals this. If I have a total, I just write it down. So my second equation is 0.05 N, this is 0.10 D, and this equals $5. So my matrix is going to be 1, 1, 66, 0.05, 0.10, and 5. So let's go ahead and run this thing. So blue, then the matrix button. Hold on a second. Blue, then the matrix button right here. Arrow over to edit. And we have 1, 2 rows and 3 columns. So 2, enter, 3, enter. 1, enter, 1, enter, and 66, enter. And then we're going to 0.05, enter, 0.10, enter, and 5.00, enter. Once we have it entered, we're going to leave the matrix. So we're going to press blue mode. Then we're going to have to go back into the matrix, which means we'll go blue, then the matrix button again. This time we're arrowing over to the word math, and we're going to drop down to RREF, press enter, blue matrix, enter, and then enter again. And the last two numbers, 32 and 24. So, which came first? N. So N equals 32 and D equals 34. So we have 32 nickels and we have 34 dimes. Okay, last problem. An investor puts money into two accounts. One earns 4% and the other earns 8%. So I always say do the smallest one first. So this is going to be 4% and this will be 8%. And just because I'm like that, 4 begins with an F, 8% begins with a E. So let F equal the amount invested at 4%. Let E equal the amount invested at 8%. Well, how much was invested? Oh, this is the invested. So if this is invested, that means that 10,000 total goes here. And that's kind of nice because I now have my first equation, which is F plus E equals 10,000. Now I'm going to put a 1 here and a 1 there. And I need my rate. Well, these are percents. And remember, with percents, we always have to divide by 100. So this is going to be 4 divided by 100. And when I do that, this becomes 0.04. And then I do 8 divided by 100, and that gives me 0.08. Please always remember to divide percents by 100. So we're going to cross out the 4%, we're going to cross out the 8%, and we're going to cross out the 10,000 because we've already used them. Now, she invests 10,000 total and earns 640. Is that 640 per 10,000 or is that 640 total? And I'm going to say that that's a total, which means it's not a rate, it's a total amount that she earned in interest. So it's going to go here because it's a total. Now, 0.04 F, because this times this equals this, and this times this equals this. So this gives me 0.04 F plus 0.08 E equals 640. So now that I have that, I can create my matrix, which is simply going to be 1, 1, and 10,000. And then we're going to have 0.04, 0.08, and 640. So, blue, matrix, math, 1, 1, 10,000. 0.04, enter, 0.08, enter, 640. And once we have our data entered, we have to leave the matrix. So we go blue mode. Then we have to come back into the matrix. So we're going to press blue matrix, math, RREF, blue matrix, enter, and enter again. And F showed up first. So F equals 4,000 and E equals 6,000. So we invested 4,000 initially at 4% and 6,000 at 8%. Okay, this concludes our notes. Appreciate you watching. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.